And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dare to Disagree, your weekly episodic podcast, where we, average Joes with brilliant brains, tell you guys exactly how to fucking fix your lives. I'll be your host slash not host, Jonathan Esther out of California.
And this is Alone in the Dark out here in sunny Colorado. Back again.
This is Puppet Master. I'll be playing the part of the angry white man.
A part he plays well throughout his life. But yeah, you guys got topics?
I didn't really have.
I actually have one, and I have one that I think you guys will all get on. Now, as most people, or most fans of the show will know, all five of them, that
Thanks,
me,
Mom.
me and Mr. Alone in the Dark are former military member, Marines specifically. Puppet Master is got some kind of link, I'm not sure what. Despite my many sexual advances to his wife to procure that information, she's pretty good at saying no to black people. So it's not working yet. But
I've trained her well.
She's not as good at saying no to white people.
but anyway, I do have a topic that I think all of you guys are going to have opinions on that I'm very interested in. Now, among many of the awesome things that have happened under President Obama's presidency, God bless him. one of the good that one's for you, Puppet Master. One of the good things that happened under him is in 2013, our dear Pontiff went ahead and signed the Stolen Valor Act.
Pontiff?
I believe that's the name for it, right? Pontiff? Is
POTUS.
that for
POTUS?
POTUS? Thank you. POTUS. Pontiff is Pope. Sorry, mixed it up. But anyway.
He thinks he is. It's cool.
They all do, man. But anyway, he signed that in law in 2013, which, for those who don't know, is basically just a legislation that basically says anybody who it's a federal crime for anybody to wear military medals that they haven't earned to pass themselves off as a war hero or a veteran or any such thing, which is one of the few bills that he signed that went bipartisan through Congress and no problem whatsoever. Everybody loved it. Rah, 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 win for everybody, correct?
Yep.
Right.
Fast forward to January of 2016. A young man named Elvin Joe Swisher, it's a hell of a name, from Idaho, was being charged for going against the Stolen Valor Act. And, well, he appealed to the court after stuff happened, and the court overturned his charge, which now means that the panel found that wearing a medal conveys a message which is protected under the First Amendment.
Yeah, you have a First Amendment right to lie.
Yep. So you will no longer be able to charge anybody for wearing medals that they have not earned in combat, because technically wearing a medal is conveying a message, and a message is protected under the First Amendment.
All right. Yes, all of that is true. However, there is a bill that most likely will be signed stating that if you benefit from wearing said medal, then you can be charged.
Yeah, fraud by deception or something like that.
Yep. Anytime you benefit monetarily or any other way, you have officially crossed the line from freedom of speech to theft by deception.
All right. So that's being passed into law right now. But I caught on to that, and I just thought it was fascinating. And I really wanted to actually direct this at you, Puppet Master. Do you think this is an example of American PC going out of control?
What part? The fact that we're concerned that people are wearing medals, or the fact that people can now wear medals that they never rated?
The first, but now that I think of it, both.
To
Because I'll be honest, I was absolutely not cool with this ruling. Actually, I
I don't. I don't
I
think anyone
understand.
should be allowed to wear any medal award that they did not uh, actually get, like, receive. They didn't earn it.
Yeah,
And there are benefits that come from that that are so sometimes so minute. Just a general respect sometimes is a benefit that these people are taking advantage of the goodwill of, and the patriotism of those in the nation who still have patriotism. Um, as far as, is it too PC because now we're actually concerned with people wearing medals? No. This is the one case where I don't think it's about being politically correct. I think it's about, you know, earning something. I mean, it goes right back to what a lot of people think about the state of the welfare system. You know, people taking things they haven't earned or receiving things they haven't earned.
but now here's an interesting addendum to that. So this comes on the, well, I won't say the heels because it was pretty much 4 years ago, but this comes after they'd already overturned a law that that made it a crime to lie about having won a military medal.
Earned.
Uh,
Let's not say one.
Oh yeah, there you go. Earned a military medal. I'll go with that. But when I read the whole thing, I don't know, I just felt dirty inside from top to bottom. That this is, I mean, I understand judging each thing on an individual basis, and I understand that the letter of the constitutional law says, hey, you know, this, if this qualifies as free speech, it should be protected. Fair, fair, fair. But overturning a ruling about lying, should lies be protected under free speech too?
All right, let's think about it like this. All right. Say I print $1 million worth of money. It's obviously, not real,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I don't spend any of it. But I have forged money in my house. Am I guilty of printing U.S. dollars?
Damn.
Personally, that's the great question. Legally, I guess
Now,
the answer would be no.
legally, I haven't spent any of it, so I haven't benefited from the act of actually printing fake money.
But I think it's still. I think just the act of printing it is still legal, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be.
Well,
I think-
why? I didn't benefit from it at all. Literally, I just have it sitting in the corner of my house. It hasn't done anything wrong. You got. I can't say that I tried to pass it off as real money. I just printed something that looks like real money. I can just say that's a hobby of mine, and I don't do anything with it until you can prove otherwise. Have I broke a law?
Well, because we were actually talking about what were we talking about, Jonathan Esther, about rape, like the specifics of the actual crime of rape, like what has to happen, and one of
Whether
them
it's
was
emotional or physical.
Well, no. I was reading this article on Reddit where I guess a guy who works in the law, specifically with rape cases, was breaking down exactly what the definition of rape is. And I guess there are all these variations, but at the core, what it was, and that I never knew, I always assumed rape was, you know, the way it's always been portrayed on TV and on the news and all that, is rape is any time a woman feels like she's been taken advantage of. That's what I boiled it down to. There are variations of that, but that's what I always boiled it down to, because it came to either a man or a woman steps up and goes, they did this to me, and the person says, no, I didn't, or no, I didn't know, or yada yada. But just the fact that that person said it, it's qualified as rape. Well, it's assumed to be rape, but it has to be proven. But one thing he said that was really interesting was one of the big factors in rape is the aggressor, male or female, needs to be aware, unless the person is incapable of communicating back, which is rape if they can't. If they can't communicate back, they're not able to give consent, therefore it's rape. But if they are capable to communicate, the person raping needs to be aware that they are against it. And technically, if they're unaware that they are against it, it's not classified as rape.
Okay, that makes total sense. Now let's go back to how that relates to this. This
So
stolen
I see
valor.
your point that if you're not benefiting off it, how is that really a crime? But I think just the act of printing money is the crime.
But so
You know what I mean?
what if that's part of my freedom of speech? I literally freedom of expression. I just want to know what it felt like to have what would be the quantity of $1 million, even though I'm not trying to pass it off as real to anybody else. I'm literally just making a statement that look, I can print money just I can print enough fake money just like the Federal Reserve prints every fucking day. That's a statement.
Yeah.
So how is that any different if I'm not benefit from it other than just say, look, I can print without fucking have the gold to back it up too?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'm going to warn you. This answer is coming from Yahoo Answers, so take it with a grain of salt. But they do have a law link in it. Anyway, reproduction of U.S. currency in color or black and white is permitted as long as the reproduction are less than 3/4 or more than 1.5 the size of the original and one-sized it. Size restrictions apply whether using the whole or portion of any bill. Additionally, care must be taken to dispose of negative scans or other material used to create the reproduction. So that's the actual legal definition according to law.
Okay, but that legal definition at this point could be repealed if we're going to go by the fact that we had a law against stolen valor and we repealed that. I mean, we came up with that's freedom of speech. So the argument could be made on the same note.
So I guess the core point of the conversation I was trying to bring to with this whole stolen valor thing is, okay, we are following these laws set by our forefathers as the bedrock of this whole nation. To you guys individually, is there any limit where those laws don't apply? Like, is there a limit where free speech, you'd be willing to bend free speech to stop this facet of thing? Like, I apply free speech to everything but this.
Well, there's the what is that? What's that thing? You don't have the free speech to yell fire in a theater. It's like there is limits to free speech.
Yeah, there is, and it's I'm gonna look it up right now.
I can't remember the exact.
I'm looking it up as we talk.
Definition.
But I was more curious if you guys had anything you would add to it.
Well, here's my thing.
Yeah.
About the stolen valor. I mean, I wrote that whole article about stolen valor. I think it's fucking disgusting. And I think even if it's not monetary, the reason these people are doing it is to benefit by fraud for something. Mm-hmm. Whether it's to pick up chicks at a bar, whether it's to get free drinks, they're definitely benefiting. It's like, otherwise they wouldn't fucking do it. Okay? However, I still understand why this got overturned on First Amendment thing. And even as much as I don't support that guy, I really like keeping our First Amendment as strong as possible, okay? Which sometimes people's First Amendment protects them from being assholes. I mean, that's just how it works. That's one of the prices of freedom is assholes get freedom too. So, and I totally love, like, I have I'm following the Stolen Valor page that hunts down these assholes and exposes them and fucking, goes after their records and shit like that. I totally think these guys should be fucking publicly shamed whenever they do this. Do I think if they're not, monetarily benefiting, that it should be a criminal charge? I don't know, man. I mean, there's so many asshole things that you're legally allowed to do. Do I want to give up some of my First Amendment rights to protect against these fucking pricks, And another thing is in all honesty, I mean, maybe I'm gonna have the what's that called, confirmation bias. But every person I've met who pulled this stolen valor shit, a fucking veteran knows almost immediately. I mean, that's how these guys get caught. It's number one, they fuck up the uniforms like fucking 10 times out of 10. I mean, there's entire fucking orders of how these uniforms are supposed to be put together. You can look it up on the internet. Most Marines do. When they need to get their shit together, they're on the internet fucking looking this shit up, They just don't pay attention to it. They don't realize how serious little fucking minute things, how your medals are placed, how it's centered, how far from your pocket, how serious those minute details are to actual military people, you know?
Yeah.
I do think it's, some people don't understand. Like, some people are on that Stolen Valor page, like, throwing a fit. Like, you guys are just harassing these people. That's, if they want to do it, that's their right. You guys are totally, apparently, according to this court decision, totally right. But it's also these veterans' rights to call them out on it. If it's your right to lie, it's my right to call you a liar. So I think this thing being maintained how it is with these non-profit fucking organizations hunting these assholes down, exposing them, these guys facing social consequences rather than criminal consequences. I think that's acceptable to me. As much as I would love to see these guys get thrown in jail, I don't know if I could really support curtailing our First Amendment rights because of that.
It is what it is. I don't think these guys should be. You know what? The fact it's overturned, you're right. They have the right to do whatever they want when it comes to wearing it, as long as they'll benefit from it.
Yeah.
That's simple. If it's to make a statement, whatever. But there are some people who have been prosecuted recently in the past who wore certain medals as they were witnesses in a court case for credibility purposes.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's
so stuff like that. That's knowingly making a false statement. That alone is not protected by First Amendment.
And
that I could totally agree with.
So the fact of the matter is yes, you're right. They have the right to wear the medal if they want to, but they don't have the right to benefit from it. Secondly, you're right. Military members or veterans have every right to put that guy on blast for wearing a medal he doesn't rate. I can literally publicly shame him if I know for a fact that he has never earned that medal. I have that right. And who's to say I don't? Because it's not slander.
Oh, and
it's not defamation of character.
Have sued that Stolen Valor organization like repeatedly and lost because they're saying they're publicly defaming me. Well, they are, but they're correct. You're a liar. That you could defame somebody as long as it's truthful.
It's actually, I'm looking it up on the Atlantic magazine, and they kind of had an article on it. And what they're basically saying is they boil it down to, and I think it covers what you said, Puppet Master, as long as the individual benefits. And an addendum that they put on here is, and as long as it's not directed at a specific individual. So the example they use here, which, yay me, is burning a cross. Because threats aren't kind of covered under the First Amendment. So if you burn a cross on a front lawn, even though it's your First Amendment right to be able to burn that cross, it's on that front lawn at that specific individual, that's a threat. But if you burn a cross in an open field outside of town, it's not a threat. It's wide open. Anybody can get this information, can see the cross and whatnot. It's clearly not directed at any specific group, even though we know it is. But that is not considered a threat, so it's covered under the First Amendment, whereas burning the cross on the front lawn is not, even though it is also expression of free speech, I would guess.
I really got to look that up, the history of cross burning, because I really don't understand how that's not anti-Christian. Like, how can a Christian burn a cross? It'd be like some Muslim burning a Quran, like, fuck Jews, watch this thing burn, Like, I don't get it. There's got to be some history I'm missing there.
Yeah, it's something I could have sworn it had something to do with Joan of Arc, but I might be wrong. It's been so long since I looked that up. I remember I went through this whole phase where I was just fascinated by anything Ku Klux Klan related.
They're pretty amusing, at least.
They very much are. Holy crap.
Which reminds me, I haven't listened to the voicemail for Loyal White Knights in a while. Let's get on that.
Oh, dude, those guys do good work, man. I'm gonna tell you what. Even knowing what I was walking into, sometimes those things would bristle. Just so much hate in the use of the word nigger, man. I've never heard. Yes, I mean you hear it as a joke and whatnot, and people say it, but I've never heard it with hate behind it. Like just everything, just chink and nigger and all of it. Just, I mean, them in the Westboro Baptist Church. There are people like whenever I hear them, I'm always amazed at how how much the vile and the bile behind their words still kind of gets to me, even when I know it's coming.
Yeah, they get into it, man. And that's a decent segue into my topic, okay? Because there's a quote, and let me pull it up. I just had it up and actually, there it is. Here's a quote right here. It's from Lyndon Johnson. It's if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll even empty his pockets for you. Okay? It's a great quote, and and it's something I've noticed, especially when I was in Tennessee. The educated, intelligent people out there, there's quite a few people out there with great education, intelligent people, weren't racist in the least bit. They didn't give a shit about being racist because it didn't matter what your race is. They're still better than you. Those fucking idiots living off pain pills and fucking blue care, those are the ones who are racist because they gotta feel better than you somehow. It's not going to be education. It's not going to be their career. Nothing. Okay? They got shit other than they were born white. Okay? But that's not what I wanted to talk about. I think that quote will work just as well talking about Republicans and Democrats.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I know so many people who are dumber than at least 50% of the fucking nation. And that's not saying much, okay? Who think that they are smarter than every single person in the opposing political party.
Yeah,
And it blows my fucking mind.
Here's my thing. I honestly believe if you identify yourself as a Republican or Democrat or a specific party, you're part of the problem.
It bothers me because I was I was watching a thing on, what is that show? TED Talks, okay? And this lady, and I really suggest anybody go watch it. I can't remember what it was, but she's talking about hard choices. That's the topic. And what she's talking about is what a real hard choice is.
Are you sure it's not Hillary?
No. It's some little Asian girl, I think. And it's actually pretty funny because I think she was a philosophist, and she used to be like in law or something like that. But she was making a statement, and people took it as a joke because she's like, I had two choices. I could either go into law or I could go into philosophy. And people started cracking up laughing like, how dumb would you have to be to go to philosophy? Well, it turned out she ended up going into philosophy. So, like, when the crowd laughed at her, you could see the look on her face was like, hold on, assholes, That wasn't the joke,
Hear me out first, y'all.
But what she was talking about is choices, even things that you would think are difficult, it's not really a hard choice until you don't know which one's better. If you're looking at let's say two apartments, both of them are about the same. This one has a fucking pool, this one's got a tennis court, this one's got a better school district, this one's closer to work. Well, when they have different stats, but they end up pretty much equal, that's a hard choice, and that's where your personality really comes out. You having to pick. You can't make a logical decision here because these things are pretty much equal. So you personally have to pick between them. And that's how I look at Republican and Democrats. Most of the time, most of either party that I know, they're the same political party as their parents. Or whoever most of their friends are. If you got a bunch of Democrats as friends, you're probably going to be a Democrat. Okay? It's kind of like religion. Everybody thinks, that, hey, my religion, I freaking went and found Jesus or found, God or found whoever the fuck. If you look, it really has a whole lot more to geography than anything else. Where you were born usually dictates what religion you are. It doesn't have anything to do with any spirituality or fucking Jesus coming to you or a burning bush. None of that shit, okay? But that's my thing with Republicans and Democrats. There is a whole bunch of Democrats that are way smarter than me and still believe in Democratic policies, okay? There's a whole bunch of Republicans way smarter than me, who still believe in Republican freaking policies. That's because at the end of the day, if you line them up, they're different, even though they're less different than I think most people realize, but they end up pretty much equal. There isn't really a better or a worse party. At the end of the day, both of these parties are just as hypocritical as the other one.
Absolutely.
Both of them put scumbags in office that nobody would have gone out and said, you know what? I need somebody to lead this state. This guy right here. This is the guy right here. Some rich guy's son. This is who I wanted to pick. Okay? And I'm all for a woman president, but if you're telling well, I'm pretty sure nobody in this show is going to pick it. But if we really look at all the women who qualify to be president in the United States, do you think Hillary would be in the top 10,000?
No.
She better not be.
No, I want like some fucking
right now.
I want some doctors in there. I want some engineers, some people who've got or some people with master degrees in foreign relations. That's my thing. I always think the presidency should be a lifelong decision. Okay, like being an astronaut. If you want to be an astronaut, you need to work you need to make that decision when you're like 16 and start working your way towards there. Get your degree in something. Go into the fucking Air Force, usually Air Force, to become a fucking test fight pilot or something like that. You need to dedicate your life to being a freaking astronaut. That's not really how the presidency is. You get some politicians who that's what they did, and okay, yeah, it's your turn now. We think a black president will make it, so you should line up on that. Who the fuck heard of Obama before like 2 years before he ran for president?
Nobody.
No. And no president, at least since I've been alive, has been of the caliber that I would call the greatest pick to lead the United States. I knew people just personally that would have been more intelligent than Bush, better freaking speakers than Obama. And of course, better speakers than Bush. No offense, though.
Yeah.
But that's what bothers me about so many people in there, and I see it all the time. Like, I got one guy on my Facebook who gets so much of his information from, let me find this Facebook page, and you guys tell me if this sounds like something that would give you partisan, real, here it is, being liberal means being a hypocrite. Now, how accurate do you really think the information from that thing is going to be?
Oh, man.
Here's another one. Tired of being surrounded by Republicans is another Facebook page. Okay? I see this stupid shit all the time. And here's something that irritates me the most about people in political parties, okay? Is when they are on the front lines when somebody from the opposing party fucks up. Okay? Bill Clinton fucked around on his wife. I mean, Republicans were there with their fucking family values, okay? Mike Huckabee fucking, ditches his cancer-ridden wife. Who cares? Who was that guy while he was investigating Bill Clinton was cheating on his wife at the same time? It was Newt Gingrich.
Newt Gingrich, yeah, I remember that.
And there was lines of excuses of, that's his business. Well, okay. If anybody held their party to the same standards they hold the opposing party, the entire country would fucking change, man. It would be breathtaking. Like, how many people do you see talking about all the lies Obama says? And then they support Trump. I'm totally on Obama's ass when he says bullshit, But you can't seriously support Trump and not realize he's lied over and over and over again. Unless you were just, avoiding this as much as you can, So that's kind of I think that line, and it could just be fill in the fucking blanks, okay? If you could convince the lowest Republican that he's better than the best Democrat, he'll empty his pockets. And they fucking are, dude. Look at all this money pouring into these freaking political parties. It's ridiculous.
Now, here's a funny little addition to what you just said. None of that even matters because recently they released a study by a Princeton professor and a Northwest University professor. The Northwestern was called Benjamin Page, and the Princeton one was called Martin Gillens. And they released a survey where they went, okay, you know what? Fine. Let's look at how Congress reacts to the will of the people. Like, we want to see if Congress actually listens to the people. And what they did is, over the last 40 years, they took public support for any topic whatsoever, and then saw how many of those became laws down the line or were pushed to become law and succeeded. And they realized, okay, the lower public support, like almost 15% to zero, it was about 30%. But the highest public support, 90% to 100, was still 30%. It didn't matter what the public support was for any actual idea, but for 90% of the people, 30% either way, for us to get a thing that we're passionate about through. Of course, this changed when you started talking about corporations and certain legal entities. They get a lot more higher chances. We're talking 60% and above, well, 60% and below, to get their ideas passed through if they wanted it so, because lobbyists is what the guys discerned was the reason they could get their laws through a lot easier. So it really didn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. Either way, Congress doesn't really care what you have to say. They're going to pass the laws they want.
Well, here's why, though. If you look at, like, you guys remember, was it in 2012? That, like, Congress had its lowest approval rating in, like, recorded history. But when the re-elections came about, like 90-something% of them were re-elected. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Let's say me and you decide on, let's say, gun fucking the background checks. You know, we want to close the loophole in private transactions, okay? When I was with the NRA, when they polled all the members, you know, what do you guys think the smartest choice for the U.S. on gun sales is? And I mean, there was a healthy majority, like 70-something%, that said they wanted expanded background checks of NRA members, okay? But when the NRA went to the Congress to talk to them, they said absolutely no extended background checks. That won't help anything. You know, criminals will get guns anyways. Why do we have laws anyways? Because criminals just ignore them. You know, they completely ignored what the member, and I think they took a significant loss, including mine, of people who left the NRA because they just straight ignored what their membership wanted. You know, like when Wayne Prieur would have talked about it, he didn't say a single thing about the majority members wanting extended background checks. Not a fucking word of that ever came out. But when that happens, it doesn't matter if, let's say, I'm for extended background checks. Dave, you're I'm a Republican for extended background checks. Dave, you're a Democrat. You want extended background checks. But my freaking Republican congressman doesn't want it. It doesn't matter because I'm not going to vote for your Democrat one who will do it. I'm going to vote for my Republican because Republicans are always right. So they don't move.
Damn.
There's no change because there's no threat. They're not going to lose their seat because you're going to vote for me because you're not going to just change and vote for a Democrat. But let's say, okay, fuck this. You know what? I'm tired of this. I'm a fucking Republican. I want this extended background checks. I'm going to run for office now. I'm going to take out my Republican congressman. I'm going to be it. Then we're going to do this. Now the votes get split between my other guy and the Democrat gets put in charge. So running as a second fucking choice only hurts your party position.
Well, I'm looking right now. Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate, and really, I mean, what's the best way to rehab this? Because is voting gonna do the trick? Is voting what's gonna take to basically get this thing done, or?
I don't know, man.
I mean, based on the fact that there's the Electoral College, our vote doesn't even count, to be quite honest. So.
Yeah, and I don't have a fix, you know. And
Yeah.
people say if you don't have a fix, you shouldn't bitch about the problem. I don't know about that, you know,
No,
because there's
it
a
should be
lot of
brought to
problems I
light.
think we have that we need to talk about. No, I don't have the answer, but let's get some fucking political science majors and see if we can get this fixed, you know.
I mean, I do think this is something Puppet Master is going to agree with. I think ultimately, obviously, it always comes down to the people and what we're willing to do, like how much noise we're willing to make, actively taking to the streets and doing something. But we're so complacent nowadays with the life that we have. Nobody's got time for that, man. People got bills and families and stuff.
Yeah, and that
Yeah,
that was
I
the point we
think the easiest solution for everybody with the least amount of effort would be term limitations on the House and the Senate,
that would be nice.
That'd be a good start.
because that right there is a big part of our problem. You know,
How would
Yeah.
you push that law through?
well,
I don't understand how.
I know that there's one particular candidate for presidency that's pushing that. That is one of his big line items.
Yeah. Let's all go vote for him.
I'm not talking about Trump.
Oh no, I thought that was his.
Oh,
Nope, Rand Paul.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of his big things.
I actually thought you were talking about Bernie.
No, I don't think Bernie wants that. Where do you think he's been the last fucking 40 years?
Yeah. Our entire lives. But that I didn't want to get into a political discussion about it. I just think people really need to understand that you're not more intelligent than everybody in the opposing political party. You need to look into why there's intelligent people in the party against you. It isn't just because they don't have all the facts. It isn't because you're smarter than them. Okay? There's reasons they're there, and if you don't understand why they're there, you don't really understand the situation. I'm not
I
saying
think that-
change your political party. I'm saying go understand. You know?
No, I think changing the political parties is not the answer. I think leveraging the smart people on both sides is the answer.
Yeah.
Instead of letting all the dumb ones fucking run around and making you chase them like a fucking herd of cats.
Yeah, and look at right now, man. Like, between the two front runners right now, Hillary and Trump. Do you know how many people don't want to touch either one of them? It's embarrassing, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a kid who grew up rich. You know, how am I really going to expect that he can understand any lower class or middle class problems? Okay. And a woman whose big start in politics was her husband got freaking elected. You know, and I think that's while we're doing term limits, I think we should also ban if I go to fucking get a job at Verizon and my mom hadn't worked there, I can't get a job. They don't hire fucking family. Why do we hire family for our presidency?
We do it with the Congress, with Congress too. I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean Rand Paul, he's one of them. You know,
the Bushes.
the Bushes, freaking Hillary's entire existence to her husband. What's that other one? There's one more I was thinking about. But I can't. But I mean, it was really embarrassing for a while. Like the only two people, like I think Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton were the first ones to really throw in that they were running for president. And here we have a wife of an ex-president and the son and brother of other presidents. Like how, I mean, how much different is that from monarchy when we can't find just a fresh person of no relation to a prior president? 320-something million people, and the only people running are freaking direct relation. No, not just second cousins twice removed. No, these motherfuckers are immediate family members to ex-presidents, and they're the ones we're gonna put up.
Well, have no fear. There'll never be a relative of Obama's family trying to run again.
They're all in Kenya anyway, so that's fine.
If we could just have someone who's good and wholesome, like a Kennedy. Now that's
Fucking Kennedys. So anyways, that was my bitch. That's all I got.
that was it. That was it for me too. You got anything
We're not-
there, Puppet Master?
Well, we're not done yet. Let's go back to this origins of the burning cross thing.
Oh,
Shit.
actually, you got it, or because I got it.
The origins of the burning cross predates the Klan even. It basically was a form of rebellion against the veneration of crosses. So basically the adoration, the adoring crosses that the Roman Catholic Church did back in like the 1100s or something like that. It was like 1131.
Yeah,
So 1131.
it was considered
So-
idolatry by the Protestants.
Right. So he was. It was his way of protesting the making the cross like like you're praying to the cross. It's like an idolization. Yeah. So that was his. That's where it came. So basically, the Ku Klux Klan took this as wasn't of protest of something they didn't agree with, and that's where it went, and that's where it originated from.
Well, it's actually divided. They believe that that's one of the reasons. Another reason might also be predating back to the Scottish, because remember the Ku Klux Klan portray themselves as Christians, and the Scottish before wars had a what was it called? They had a thing they did called the Crann Tara, Crann.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Where they would put the crosses on hills to summon all the other fellow fighters and Christians to join for the battle. So
It's a declaration of war.
Exactly. So a little bit of both of those is what seems to keep coming up when I look it up.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. And I think what happened was that the KKK actually took both of those and merged it into one. So we protest, the integration of black and white at the same time. This is a declaration of war against it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's origins.
Good times.
Yep. I'll be sure to get my cross and head right over to your house.
Birth of a Nation. You enjoy that, dog, because I don't have a lawn. So I live in Mexico. Anyway,
I'll put it in that back patio of yours.
Here's what I was saying. Anyway, I live with Mexicans. You could burn the lawn today. It'll be back up and running beautifully tomorrow.
They'll be laying sod in 10 minutes.
That shit, they're gonna be out there making tacos off your wood. I mean, they're really purposeful. They're a brilliant, purposeful people.
Man, it was hard for you to say something nice.
Yeah.
You gotta spit that shit out.
I couldn't tell if that hurt your soul having to be nice, or like you were choking on something that was cylindrical.
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. Because I actually had the beer in my mouth as I spoke, so a little bit of both.
Oh, good. Right.
Honestly.
That's what I call it too.
You were talking about beer, right?
Somebody was talking about online. Somebody's talking about, like, what's the greatest thing ever? One guy was like eating a steak and a blowjob. I was like, how the fuck can you eat a steak while giving a blowjob? Like, that's ridiculous. That's a multi-talented motherfucker.
I tried to get a gang of friends to go to the strip club back when I was in Baltimore that served steak, but for some reason nobody would follow me there.
That's some of the best ones I've been.
That's what I was like, man. Come on, steak and a show, titties, ass. Come on.
If I'm gonna eat at a strip club, I want it to be something I can eat with my hands. You know what I mean? Give me some fucking chicken on the table or some greasy ass barbecue rings. I want to look like a fucking mess.
A lunch buffet style
By
sometimes.
the time I'm finished eating, one of these girls are gonna quit. Just like, you know what? I gotta do better for my life.
You got barbecue
You're
You're licking your fingers looking at her.
Here's $1. It just sticks to you. Yeah, dude, I'll help that girl out. She'd be out of there real quick.
Keep licking your fingers as you point to her each time after you're done. Just another one. You're smart. God bless DJ Khaled.
And one other thing I want to talk about, because I looked up George Foreman, okay? And it kind of segued into a whole other conversation. But do you know that George Foreman has 5 sons?
Yeah. I mean, every
all named George Foreman.
All named George. George Foreman.
That
he also has 7 daughters.
Yeah.
And
Are they all named
sadly-
George?
No, they're
sadly,
Georgia.
One of them is no shit like Georgetta or something like that. But this dude's been married like 3 or 4 times. Now, in his defense, he's got the money for it, okay? What irritates me is when I have friends who are broke who lose their ass in a divorce, and like right as their divorce paperwork is going through, they're getting engaged to another chick.
Yep.
Listen, okay, obviously it's hard for me to really be too high on my high horse since I got married as a young idiotic Marine, okay? But I guarantee you, if I get divorced and this shit's on the table about every day, according to my wife, I will not be married again for another 10 fucking years. Minimum.
If that. I may never get married again.
I kind of told the wife, I was like, if I get divorced, I would never get married again. I don't know
No.
why. Why would you get married again? Why?
Number one, I don't need to because I already got kids. I got a boy and a girl. I only wanted one. I have 2 now. I'm fucking over my limit. So what is the point of getting married if you're not going to have kids? You know? And even then, there's not really a big reason to get married if you're going to have kids. You know, it used to be, back in the day, you practically had to get married to get a lot of the family benefits and shit like that. But those days are over, you know? Thank you, gay people. I think that was a big thing for you guys. I could be in a domestic partnership with a bitch. But, you know, if you're that dumb, and another thing that irritates me is when somebody tells me how broke they are and just crying on my shoulder how broke they are, and then they have like fucking 6 kids. I got 2 kids, and we're making decent money, and it hurts sometimes. Okay? If you're working at fucking Wendy's and you got 6 kids, you've made your fucking bed. Don't come cry on my shoulders, okay? I feel bad for the kids. I don't feel bad for your stupid ass, you know? They estimate, I think, each kid, and you know, this is an old estimation, so it might have gone up since then. Each kid you have costs $180,000.
Damn.
So, I mean, it's just as dumb as if somebody come up like, yeah, I bought this new $180,000 car, now I'm going to go try and find a job. What? No, it's stupid. You know, don't even listen to somebody when they say kid. Say, oh, you know what? I'm still in this, actually, now that I think about it. Who the fuck is that? Doug Stanhope said something about that. He's like, if somebody comes to you and says, man, I'm broke, and I just got the wife pregnant, what you should hear is, and I just bought a fucking condo, because we're... No, that's a stupid idea. Don't have kids if you're poor. Okay? And not even poor, just not financially stable. Okay? If you're not stable right now, everybody's going to go through that time, unless you're like Trump, you know, born into a rich family. But if you're not financially stable, don't run around having a bunch of fucking kids. 1 kid I could understand. Okay? Sometimes that just sneaks up on you. But if you have 6 fucking that is ridiculous.
Sometimes you just don't realize the pull-out game is ineffective.
I was about to say, man, that is some truth being told under that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that sneaks up on you.
That's why I have 2 kids, man. I wanted 1. But, and, I mean, it's a whole change, guys. If you have been pulling out your whole life, and just one time a girl lets you leave it in, it's over. It's over.
You'll never do it again.
You're never going back.
You're never going back. That's the end of it.
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
Because I was a pro at pulling out when I was younger. Okay?
Was?
No more. No more.
Still am, man. Still am.
I'm telling you, man. It's that one time, no condom, just leaving that, and I just can't. I can't go back again.
It's like, you know what that reminds me of? It's like the first time you actually. I don't even want to know what went through your head. But it's
I
like,
have this visions like a little dark realizes what he's done. He like jumps off and like reaching to get it all back. Like, no, give it back! Give it back!
No, man, I had her doing jumping jacks. Come on, naked jumping
pouring
jacks.
bleach.
it's like the one time.
It's a turkey racer.
It's like the one time you have sex without a condom after having had sex with nothing but condoms. And you're just like, I'm supposed to go the fuck back to that? Fuck you.
Yeah, dude.
Never again, son.
That got so bad after I did that when I would go to put on a condom, like my dick wouldn't even cooperate anymore.
Here's
It's like, oh, fuck this. I'm not getting up in the morning for this.
Here's how hilarious that is. I distinctly remember the first time it happened to me. I was with a girl, and everything is going great. I got the condom on, and it's whatever. And then halfway through, I'm like, I don't know what just happened, but this just kicked into awesome. And me being young. Now, back then, luckily for me, I was so paranoid about getting girls pregnant, even with a condom, I would pull out. That's the only thing that's lucky for me. Because at the time, I was just going like, oh, so that's what this is. Condoms just need to warm up, and then everything is awesome. And everything is great. And like, I pulled out, and when I pulled out, all I remember seeing was the ring.
Yeah. You know, like, most condoms break because you buy a size too big, right?
Either that or small, baby. Either that or...
No, either way, it's terrible.
Now, I was young enough not to tell the girl, so it wasn't like I got a call the next day and the girl's like, so I found this in me. And I was like, oh, you did? Man, I wonder how that happened.
Who is he?
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. But after that happened, I can't even remember ever going back to a condom. Honestly, just filling out like a pro.
No, I can't do it. But anyways, that's my parting shot. What do you guys got?
I think that's it. You got a parting shot, Puppet Master?
No, I think I got my kicks in for the day. I think I'm good.
All right, I
do got one. Don't fucking vote for Hillary. Down with Hillary. Done.
That's like that guy who in his his eulogy, the obituary, it said in lieu of
don't send flowers.
In lieu of flowers, please just don't vote for Hillary. I love it. It's not like he said vote for anybody, just not this one. Not this one.
Please, guys, do whatever
you can vote for first, just not that one.
All right. So I do have a parting shot. And this one goes out to all those idiotic motherfuckers I deal with every other day that say, I wish I was younger. This is a real conversation I had to sit through earlier today. Girl. Wait, what did you say? Guy. I ran into my first grade teacher at the mall. These kids are like 15, 16. So I ran into my first grade teacher at the mall. Girl, did she recognize you? Boy, no. Girl, did you recognize her? First dumb part. Boy, yes. How did you recognize her after all these years? Boy. I have this thing. I don't know. It's a weird thing I've had for a while. That when I see people for a long time, I don't forget them.
That's a weird thing.
I got
up
and walked away. Because if I had stayed there, I would have either died laughing or just started cursing them out for being dumb.
You know what this kind of reminds me of, though? Is your story for how that guy got the El Camino? Like, let me relay you guys. So Jonathan Esser's telling me a story about this cool El Camino he saw. And he's like, so I walked up to this guy, like, where did this thing come from? The guy's like, yeah, so, like, I saw it at the dealership, it was really nice, and, I just really wanted the thing, and so I bought it and brought it home. Now, I shortened that story. That story was about 5 minutes long.
It's 5 minutes longer.
So I'm like, wait, Jonathan Esser, are you telling me that the whole storyline between that is he bought it? That's the story. Where did El Camino come from? I went and bought it. That's where it came from.
You know what's hilarious? At the time when he told me the story, I told Alone in the Dark. I was just so enamored with the car that I didn't even bother catching that. It wasn't until I relayed the story to Alone in the Dark that he's like, wait, you're telling me that whole story was just he bought it? And I go, oh yeah, I guess. And he's like, the fuck? I was like, dude, the car was so nice, I didn't even care. It was just an amazing car to me.
Like, man, sometimes, like, this is why I was talking to the wife. I want to build a house out in the middle of nowhere. okay, and have it like a vacation home. But what that vacation is from people. Because there's times I just can't fucking take it anymore. Like, I just can't. I can't fucking handle that shit anymore.
I'm sorry. I heard them kids talk, and I just sat there and I went, "Why would you want to be this again? Why the fuck? Why would the fuck would you?"
You know why? Because I was never that fucking dumb. Like I don't think I was ever that retarded.
I think everybody says that, but I think we were all. I think we can pigeonhole moments in our life. We were all dumb. There's someone out there that knows a story about all of us that's just like.
I don't think I ever said anything that dumb. Like.
I had an uncle one time.
I got this thing where I remember people. What, motherfucker? Like.
I had an uncle one time who said he didn't like drinking because whenever he drank a lot, he had this weird condition where he'd get like a really bad headache and be sick the next day. I was like, damn, dude, like that's bad. You shouldn't have touched that shit. You probably got some allergy or something.
Oh, Jesus.
And that dude wasn't young, man. He was like 25 at the time, you know?
The funny part
I think
is
if you're dumb, you're dumb. It's just sometimes it's just not helping dumb people. You know, it's they've been that way for a really long time.
Now the funny part about it is I didn't tell you guys the ending to that story.
You said you got up and walked away.
Well, yeah, when I walked away, because as I'm walking, I'm listening to them, and the girl, as I'm walking away, says, "That's creepy." And the guy says, "Did you say that's creepy?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. What I meant to say is it's awesome." And they meant every word. Every word.
No, man.
I'm done. I'm done.
Now, physically, I do wish I was younger. Like, I remember being able to fucking do anything. And the next day, my back was fine, my legs are fine, my shoulders fine. I do miss that. But, like, I think when I was, like, 19, I went to the store, and, I wasn't making much money being a young fucking stupid Marine. But all my money was disposable. So that's decent money when you don't have to pay for any fucking bill. You know what I mean? And I went and bought like $40 in candy, 3 pizzas, and like a shopping bag full of fucking Taco Bell, and went home and just went like, there is nobody here to stop me. I love being an adult. Now, mind you, now I'm fucking, I think about $3,000 into some dental work, but it was good at the time, you know?
I still remember back when my entire lunch is consisted of chocolate milk and triple chocolate muffins every day for like a year. Jesus.
I could have. That was the most amazing. Because I had the type of parents that I could go and see like Flintstone vitamins. If I asked for anything at the store, I was getting beat. It didn't fucking. Hey, can we get a thing of broccoli? Oh, when we get back to the car. When we get back to the car, you know.
Did you just ask for some shit?
So it was crazy for me going to the store and it's like I could get this and this and this and it was. I love being an adult. I can't complain. All right, guys, let's close this bitch.
All right, yeah, let's wrap this thing up. All right, those were the parting shots, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Jonathan Esther, out of California.
This is Alone in the Dark. Make sure you tune in to us. We're on Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes now. I gotta update that one a little bit. So check us out. We're spreading far and wide. At least getting a whole lot of new places to listen to us, even if nobody really is. You know.
Yeah, we'll make it easier for a lot of y'all.
And this is the Puppet Master, and I apologize for not being my normal angry white man self today. I was actually pretty kosher today. I apologize.
You got a steak and a blowjob?
Won't happen again. Huh?
You got a steak and a blowjob or something?
How do you do that at the same time?
I was gonna ask. That's
Gonna
why.
have a big mouth.
The biggest. All right, y'all. That's the show. Catch y'all next week.
Later.